John, is domino a sport, John?
Yes, it is played in competition,
Okay, so
and
that's what qualified to
domino
be a
is
sport.
also it's also a game. It's also a game that raises the blood pressure,
So it qualifies as
and
a sport.
it's games that where sometimes even friends are lost. You know, um, but Domino Time is a song created by a very close friend of mine. We went to high school together, Monty Montgomery. And Monty is in the music business. He's an
Yes.
artist and doing quite well for himself over the years. I've done quite well. And so Monty, thank you for saying, John, you've been elected. you know. But welcome to John Sports Corner here on Sosofat Media, folks. As usual, on a Wednesday afternoon, you can join us. If you're not able to join us on a Wednesday, well, you can also go to the sign up to join us live on this platform and maybe share some of your ideas with us as we talk sports. Just want to remind you also, if you go to the Source of Bone shop and then to Winner Circle Sports, you can order the merchandise that's there available, including the great Jamaican Blue Mountain Coffee.
Gold winner.
you know, without a doubt, it's a gold winner. Um, but certainly, folks, again, welcome to this afternoon's presentation. Let me also start with the birthdays. I like to start with birthdays, especially today, the 21st of August, 2024, in the month of Ishika. One Usain St. Leopold, the
Really?
greatest sprinter ever,
Mm.
celebrates a birthday today. Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
Saint Leo.
Happy
you
birthday,
know,
St. Leo.
yes. A former Jamaica Jamaican athlete, Renee Medley, going back to the 96 Olympic Games. She celebrates her birthday. One of my favorite basketball players of yesterday, and may God rest his soul, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain, would have celebrated a birthday today. Also, a former Guyana and West Indies cricketer Keith Semple celebrating a birthday today. On Friday, a young Jamaican athlete, Christine Day, she celebrates the only female boxing champion out of Jamaica of a couple of years ago, Alicia Ashley. She celebrates her birthday on Friday. And Alicia, I know she teaches boxing. And the last time I spoke with her, she was in China. She was actually inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame, I think it was last year. I could have been the year before, but she's now in the Boxing Hall of Fame. And as I say, the only female boxing champion out of Jamaica. Brittany Cooper also celebrates her birthday on Friday. She is, of course, the a West Indies women's cricketer. And my partner in crime on Winner Circle Radio celebrates on Friday, Conroy Allison. Happy birthday,
Really?
Conroy. Yes.
Okay. What
And
is
as
he now?
I
How old is he now? About 120?
close. Of course, I mentioned earlier before we opened up that my son is here, and he's up from down south, and he
Okay.
celebrates a birthday also on Friday. So
Oh,
happy
well.
birthday, Tarek. And both you and Conroy, hope you have a great time on Friday. As I mentioned earlier to Trevor, I was told that there's something going on for him on Friday,
Okay.
but I don't know where or when, what time yet. I just know Fridays, as far as I'm concerned, is open. Let's kick off with some track and field, and I hope our good friend Rudy White of the Johnny Cochran Law Firm is tuned in, Trevor,
Well,
as former Monroe College
uh,
student and a former 400 hurdler for Jamaica. He is heading to um, Boston University as an
okay,
assistant coach, and he
okay.
will oversee sprints and hurdles. And he's also leaving a volunteer position at the University of Arkansas, where the women were crowned 2024 NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. ISA, which is the Intersecondary School Sports Association, have moved to plug some holes in the transfer of student athletes in Jamaica. The big one is reaching outside of Jamaica for student athletes. Now, all students transferring from secondary institutions outside of Jamaica will be subject to a waiting period of 1 year before becoming eligible to participate in ISA organized competition, irrespective of age. It certainly will be interesting to see how the new regulations impact Jamaica high school sports going forward, especially the big two, track and field and football.
No,
S-
that changed. That changed, John. What motivated it? Because they must have had, I hope, good reasons.
There has been a few instances of, I think there was a rule, Trevor. I don't remember exact date, what the dates are, that students had to be coming from outside of Jamaica,
Mhm,
had to be registered with the high school by a date specific.
mhm.
But it seems as if this date specific has been violated in some instances. So within the Jamaica high school program,
Huh,
when you transfer from one high school to another as a student athlete,
mhm.
as a I think it's a pre-sixth former, you have to sit out a year. So what ISA is doing now is saying if you are coming from outside of Jamaica now, you also have to sit out a year.
But I mean, how do they justify that? I mean, the conditions that might necessitate a transfer could be people moving, people changing jobs and taking their children with them, people who are returning diaspora migrants to Jamaica with their children. I mean, it seems a little bit. I mean, I would say that
Yeah.
the moment you go back to Jamaica, you have to pay taxes.
I think the caveat there though is that is for student athletes who do not have family in Jamaica
Okay,
or or are not children of a diplomat to
okay,
Jamaica.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. No, yes,
so
because it was a little bit questionable, I would say, from my point of view, where
yeah.
you're actually punishing the child because they're moving.
Hmm. Well, there has been a lot of, and I think one of the discussions I hear about this bringing in athletes from outside of Jamaica is that it is taking away spots from local athletes then,
Okay.
and the development of local athletes. But one of it's so interesting that I think one of the things the big schools have been doing is bringing in long distance runners, middle to long distance runners, and I suppose that is also an attempt to help develop our long distance running too. You know, hopefully it will carry over to the youngsters in Jamaica that they want to run long distance. They can and want to run long distances too, mid long distance, and I think that's part of it why they have reached into a couple of the African countries
Uh-huh.
to bring in these athletes. Traditionally, Africans have seem to have a penchant for long distance running or are more successful at distance running. So, and in order to win champs, you bring in
Oh,
to increase your points possibilities.
I see. Now, when our students are recruited to to colleges in the United States, do they have to sit out a year when they get into the United States?
No, you start running as a freshman.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
you
I
start
mean,
competing as a freshman.
I can well understand if you say that economically they cannot participate, they cannot get a slice of the pie because they never contributed to it. So if you put a dollar figure on them coming in to the system at that late stage, then for me that makes more sense. But I just know that when it comes to sports right now, the world is opening up and acting in collectively as one. We look at
Mhm.
different sports like basketball, for example. We find that you know the international players are spreading right across the globe. Okay, so it is something that might require further discussion when we see how it pans out.
Yeah, and I think maybe part of it too, Trevor, is in an attempt to level the playing field because there are the so-called big schools who are financially capable of bringing in athletes from outside of Jamaica, and where the lesser schools are not able to do that, so they have to depend on their local setup. And so I don't know if that is also part of the discussion,
You know,
trying
John,
to level that playing field.
the hotels are saying the same thing when it comes to the all-in-one.
Hmm,
Okay.
hmm,
that that when the all-in-one hotels comes into Jamaica and they're building a 400-room hotel, and and they got all the amenities, and the all-in-ones are sitting there getting only sauce of bone.
well,
so so
yeah. Hmm,
it's interesting.
yeah.
Interesting.
Moving on with the Olympic Games passe, Caribbean athletes heading for the Diamond League circuit now. And tomorrow in Lausanne, the women competing for Jamaica are Tia Clayton in the 100 meters, Daniel Thomas Dodd in shot put, Lamar Diston in the high jump, Akira Nugent and Daniel Williams in the 100 hurdles, Natalia Gould Toppin in the 800 meters, Rochelle Clayton, Andrenette Knight, Genevieve Ross, and Cheyenne Salmon in the 400 hurdles. On the men's side, Tajay Gale, Wayne Pinnock, and Kerry McLeod in the long jump. Rashid Broadbell and Hansa Parchment in the 110 hurdles, and Trinidad and Tobago's Jareem Richards in the 200 meters, while Grenada's Anderson Peters, bronze medalist from Paris, in the javelin. On Sunday in Silesia, Poland, for Jamaica men, Kishane Thompson, Rohan Watson, and Akeem Blake in the men's 100, Rashid Broadbell and Orlando Bennett in the 110 hurdles, Rajendra Campbell in the shot put, Roshane Clark and Jahil Hyde 400 hurdles, while the women Tia Clayton and Natasha Morrison in the 100 meters, Akira Nugent in the 100 hurdles. 400 hurdles will see Jamaica's Big Four in Rochelle Clayton, Andrenette Knight, Cheyenne Salmon and Genevieve Russell, Shanika Ricketts and Akila Smith in the triple jump, while Barbados's Sada Williams rather, in the 400 meters. The remaining meets for the 2024 Diamond League are in Rome on Sunday, August 30th, where Jamaica's Roger Stoner will take his gold medal discus arm to the meet. Also expected to participate are Olympic medalist Kishane Thompson in the 100 meters and Ginger Campbell in the shot put. Zurich, Thursday, September 5th, and then the grand finale in Brussels, September 13th and 14th. Cricket news, ICC has confirmed that October 3rd through the 20th T20 Women's World Cup will be moved from Bangladesh to the United Arab Emirates, so games will be played in Dubai and Sharjah. The move was necessitated as a result of violent anti-government protests over the last several weeks that led to the resignation of the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, who fled to India.
But John, just the question is, do they play cricket in that country where they have moved it to? Sorry?
Yeah, in United Arab Emirates.
Yes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
And even West Indies have played in Sharjah, and yeah, they play cricket there.
Okay.
Mm.
So they have good cricket fields and all those things in
But
place.
but you know, Trevor, I suppose the ICC's hand was forced when Australia, India, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom issued travel advisors to their citizens not to travel to Bangladesh. Last report I saw, over 400 people lost their lives in that unrest over the last few weeks. Also, ICC Chair Greg Barkley has confirmed to the board that he will not stand for a third term when his current tenure as chair ends in November. Cricket West Indies heading back to the polls September 20th to re-elect a vice president. At the election a couple of years ago, Trinidad and Tobago's Asim Basarat was elected void of the proper nomination process. The Guyana Cricket Board challenged the improper election in court, and the court agreed that Mr. Basarat had to vacate the position. Perhaps the bigger question is, will anyone else put up their hand to be vice president? However, while Mr. Basarat has vacated the vice presidential post, he can put back his hat in the ring to be Dr. Shallow's vice president. Cricket West Indies named their squad for the three-game 2020 series against South Africa at the Brian Lara Cricket Ground in Trinidad and Tobago. Robman Powell captain, Ruston Chase vice captain, Alec Athanaze, Johnson Charles, Matthew Ford, Shimron Hetmeyer, Fabian Allen, Shay Hope, Akil Hussain, Shamar Joseph, Obed McCoy, Gudakesh Moti, Nicholas Poran, Sherfane Rutherford, and Mario Shepard. There needs to be an explanation from Cricket West Indies, I feel, Trevor, as to why Johnson Charles is being selected ahead of Casey Carty. And what about Brandon King? Is he still feeling the effects from his World Cup injury? Matter of fact, the young test opener, Mikael Louis, would be in my squad ahead of Johnson Charles. Both Jason Holder, who has played 5 test matches on the trot, and Andre Russell have requested to be rested. Here's what beats me about Jason Holder. Several of those test matches didn't go 5 days.
Right.
So when I say he played 5 test matches on the trot, it was a 5-day test that he was on the field. So I can't figure why he has to be rested for a 1-day match that is going to last, 2-4 hours? And you go home and rest after that?
Well, you know,
Anyway.
as you say now, John. I mean, what's that? They shuffle.
Well, anyway, Roy Lewis is the team manager, and Darren Sammy, of course, is the head coach. And game one is scheduled for Friday at the Brian Lara Cricket Stadium. Cricket West Indies have also named a women's under-20 squad to tour England in preparation for the January 2025 Women's Under-19 World Championship in Malaysia. Asabi Calendar and Erin Dean will share co-captain duties. Abigail Bryce, Kenika Kassar, Dikoria Collymore, Trisha Hardat, Thiani Herbert Mayers, Brianna Haricharan, Daniel Mans, Jericho Orozco, Amrita Ramthahal, Salina Ross, Kristen Sutherland, and Alia Weeks fill out the team. The management team is made up of Marissa Aguilera, who is a former West Indies women's cricketer out of Trinidad and Tobago, and also a former captain of West Indies women's team. And Steve Liebert is the head coach. Shane Brooks, assistant coach. Physio is Ashley Stevens. Strength and conditioning coach, Ibn Arthur. I still don't see a psychologist with the team, sports psychologist, and I think it is about time Cricket West Indies start including sports psychologists, not only with the men's team, but women's, all the teams when they travel. The tour calls for a series of 2020 matches against various teams in England, as well as a 30-over match. The young Barbadian fast bowler Shea Simmons has committed his future to English county team Warwickshire by signing a contract extension that will keep him at the Edgbaston club till the end of 2026. And don't know if it's a natural position to take, Trevor, but already he has been linked to the likes of another Barbadian fast bowler who is representing England, one Mr. Jofra Archer. In the world of football, congratulations, reggae girl and captain of Jamaica women's football team, Khadija Bonny Shaw, winner of this year's Professional Football Association Women's Player of the Year Award in the Women's Super League. Her remarkable season.
Well deserved, John. Well deserved.
Yes.
She
Her
brought
remarkable season, Conroy.
She brought more excitement to the Olympics than than Martha did. Okay.
Well, to women's football in England.
Yes, yes.
She really is. She's very good, and we saw her leading her team to a second place finish, narrowly missing out on the title to Chelsea on goal difference. They ended up with the same amount of goals scored, but had more goals scored against them than Chelsea that created that goal difference. Yes. Jamaica's renowned female athletes are usually in track and field, but we have had Stephanie Taylor in cricket and now Khadija Bonny Shaw in football. There's so much sports talent in Jamaica. If it is just handled and garnered and shaped properly, Trevor, we'll have a lot more sports athletes across the board.
But John, I mean, it's an observation that has been made, especially after we just came out of the Paris Olympics. When you say that when you look at the population of Jamaica versus the population of the United States, that per capita, an island of 3 million people getting X amount of medals, 5 medals, and an island of and a country that has 350 million people getting 140 millions medals, that per capita, Jamaica did better per capita than the United States.
And when you consider we have not medaled in other sports other than the one we got several years ago in cycling,
Yeah.
but the medals are so. When I said there is the talent there is just a matter of garnishing, getting this talent and working on it and getting them to the international level. And we'll be bringing home more medals in other areas, in other disciplines.
And consider also that our top athletes were out hurt.
and,
Okay.
and and also I think, let's face it, one of the drawbacks in our sports arena, and maybe not only Jamaica, but the Caribbean as a whole, we don't have the structure, or should I say the money that will help the structure to
Right.
develop our young athletes.
Right.
And going to the well, they can't all be going to the same well to get that water.
It's gonna run dry.
Yeah,
No,
and that well right now is focusing on the areas where they can get or more bang for their dollars, which is track and field.
right.
You know, um, but we have good swimmers. We have good. We have some young golfers coming up, table tennis players. Of course, we trying to develop now in football our young ladies in
Oh, yeah.
football. But Trevor, football takes a lot of money to
Yes.
put a team together.
But you know,
And
John, when you look at the way the money is divvied up, okay? For example, how cricket divvies up the pot, how soccer divvies up the pot. I mean, are we getting that type of percentage when you look at how, for example, the pot is being divvied up when it comes to track and field, John, by the rural body? I mean, compared to the United States, what does Jamaica get, John?
um, when you say, first of all, in soccer, FIFA gives everybody the same dollar.
That's what I'm talking about.
Um, Not because United States is bigger, they're going to get more money than Jamaica.
Bully, bully, bully.
Everybody get the same money. In cricket, Australia, England, India get the giant share of the money.
The lion's share.
Yeah. Track and field, to be very honest, I'm not sure how much, how that is divvied up, or if there's anything coming from um the IAAF, not IAAF, the international IOC,
Mm,
how much money. I'm not sure how that works, Trevor. I'd have
okay.
to go and do some research on that,
Uh-huh.
to see how that works. But despite all that, I know there are a lot of individuals in Jamaica in little pockets who are working on, like, for instance, a cricket academy, a football academy.
Yes.
But a lot of the support is by individuals who set up these academies,
Uh-huh.
and they have to be providing most of the funds to keep that academy going.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so it's, as I say, it's and I know it's difficult. But if they were able to get the kind of funding that would help them really to develop the players, youngsters from maybe age 5 going up, because that's really where you really need to start,
Well, John, what is strange, is that when we look at what Jamaica produces from its students, doctors, lawyers, accountants, athletes, does athlete really figure on the budget of the government when they are putting together an education budget? And in as much as athletics and champs is features as a part of the whole curriculum, it makes sense that the budget that is put out for the Ministry of Education should should um include track and field, right?
Well,
And
you
all
know,
the other sports.
maybe I suppose when the Minister of Education divvies up that money to the
Uh-huh.
schools,
Mhm.
then the schools have to decide how much of that, where that money goes,
Well, that
who gets how what.
it should not be left to the school. It should be, I mean, there should be I would say that there should be a targeted approach to developing sports in Jamaica. So you don't say that you're saying $100,000 to the school and it goes in athletics and soccer and cricket gets none based on the decision that is being made by that school.
You know, sometimes it's difficult to assess situations because you're not there in presence in Jamaica. So I can't say how how the schools use the money that they get from the Minister of Education. But as I say, some of it I am sure goes to schools. And you see, Trevor, I know the larger schools in Jamaica, the big schools, the high schools, they have their um
Associations, student associations.
in the diaspora
Yes.
who funds a lot of activities in the schools, and I think more and more it is happening with more and more of our high schools because even the lesser ones are seeing how the bigger ones work, and they now are kind of coming aboard to try to do the same things for their high schools.
Okay.
And so I think with that, we should see more development and growth of our athletes. Now, you see, soccer, football, and cricket, not cricket, track and field are really the two big events.
Yes.
But swimming, there's lacrosse now being played, and youngsters are in these other sports are too also looking for scholarships to university
Right.
based on their skill levels in these other sports, track and field and swimming and football.
True, because I see where when we look at what we do for pen relays and how the diaspora is mobilized
Hmm.
for the pen relays, we don't see that type of mobilization for the other sports.
Mm-mm. Well, you see, there's not that competition then or avenue for them to go to. In football, for the most part, it depends on the football associations in the development of our youngsters and the different competitions around, maybe around the Caribbean or around the world that they can participate in or qualify to be a part of. The same thing with cricket. but as I say, the talent is there. How do you harness that talent?
Well, the women's netball team in Jamaica is a very dominant netball team. Okay, they're a very dominant netball team, and they play Australia. They play all over, and you have to ask. Therefore, you see, the talent is there. It's a matter that if you don't fund the sports, then the talent is not going to go there. And we have the same problem in the United States when it comes to basketball, and when it comes to NFL football, and when it comes to baseball. I mean, when you look at the top talents in the colleges coming out in the draft, they're going where the money is.
Mhm.
Okay. I think they would be just as gifted and dominant if they had been doing golf, if they had been swimming. We have some soccer, we have some basketball players. They're fast.
Mhm.
Okay. And and as athletes, they're not only super athletes, but they're super athletes over an extended period.
Mhm.
Okay. Extended period. And as you said, the talent is there. We're not short of talent. I mean, you can tell by the guys who go into music where it takes them, John.
Mhm.
Just in reggae
Mhm.
or in dance all that they break barriers. Okay, so it doesn't matter where our children end up,
And
as
cross
long
borders.
across borders,
Mhm.
as long as they are sustained to develop,
Mhm.
you know. I mean, I remember about 25, 30 years ago, Jamaica had a very dominant table tennis team.
Well, that is very true. when the when the Fosters were
Yes,
around.
the Foster brothers.
Yeah. Well, the Fosters, because it was Morris, Dave, and Joy.
Yeah, okay,
And as far as I know, Joy is still in the book of records for the youngest national champion at
okay.
9 or 10 years old, you know. And I think she lives in Atlanta.
Really?
I think she lives in Atlanta.
I have a foster
Anyway,
down here. I have a foster down here, but it's not Joyce Maxine.
okay. Moving on, though, Trevor, we still have some more football news as Jamaica under 14 Reggae Boys are in Trinidad for the Caribbean Football Union under 14 Challenge Series. And so far, Jamaica defeated Trinidad and Tobago 2 goals to 0, Aruba 6 goals to 0, and St. Kitts and Nevis 2 goals to 0. Last night, CONCACAF Caribbean Cup action at Sabina Park between Cavalier as they defeated Mount Pleasant 2 goals to 0 on goals by Christopher Ainsworth and Shaquille Steen. Um, Cavalier and Mount Pleasant are drawn in Group A of that competition with Arnett Gardens, Real Hope of Haiti, and Police F Football Club of Trinidad and Tobago. The next game for Cavalier, I think, is next Thursday at Sabina Park against the Police FC team out of Trinidad and Tobago. Two-time Jamaica Women's Premier League champions Fraser's Whip. They are to make their international debut against Alajuelense women of Costa Rica in the regional CONCACAF Women's Club Championships, and we will have results on that next week, Wednesday. The David Wagahon Football Classic took place last Saturday at the UWI Mona Bowl. Of course, there were 3 matches, but the big match between Calabar and Kingston College, Calabar going home the winner, 2 goals to 0.
Really?
The 14th staging of the Classic is a tribute to David Wagahunt, who actually attended Kingston College and coached football at Calabar High School.
But
Um,
John, they actually have a tournament in Florida each year in his honor, if I'm not mistaken. The Dogger ones.
the Wagahunt.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they do,
Yes, they do.
to raise funds,
Raise funds.
also for the heights, because
Yes.
the funds are raised for that go to both Calabar and Kingston College at the end of the
Yes.
day.
Yes.
Hmm. Leicester City and Tottenham closed out the opening weekend of the English Premiership with a 1-1 draw. There was only one other draw over the weekend with Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. That also ended one apiece. Manchester City defeated Chelsea 2 goals as if in what I consider to be the first big match of the English Premiership
Mm,
season.
mm,
you Conroy, Trevor.
mm.
Jamaica's Raheem Sterling was not named in the Chelsea game day squad as uncertainty continues to swirl around him being with the club. Um,
Yes.
I think the door is open for him to leave that club, Trevor. Um,
It's about time, John. He's been there a long
well,
time.
no, his number 7 has been assigned to the new signee in the club, Pedro Neto. So I suppose that kind of shows that the door is, if
Open.
it's open
Crack.
for him to, yeah, to leave that club. I think the problem with him going to another club though is that weekly salary. I think his salary is something like about £250 sterling a week.
Yes.
And
But
right now that's a hefty price tag, and particularly since he's also not in the England national team when they last played.
yes, I
So,
noticed that.
mhm. But Sterling is from Marvelly era in Jamaica and has contributed handsomely with football gears to his hometown. I tell you a little story about Marvelly, Trevor.
Mm,
Years ago, my neighborhood played a friendly against Marvelly.
mm,
And who turned up for the Marvelly team? The great Jamaican international Oscar Black.
mm.
Um, We were leading 3-2 at halftime, but when the final whistle blew, we were beaten 5-3. After the game, Oscar came over and hugged me and said to me, "It's a good thing we play 2 halves." But let me tell you something, Trevor. Anyone who knew Oscar Black knew he was fun to be around.
yes,
He was just fun,
yes.
and I miss him. As Penna used to call him back when he played, he was with the Jamaican national team and they were trying to qualify for the Olympic game, for the World Cup,
Mm.
actually. Penna used to call him Z Oscar.
The Oscar, huh?
Yeah. Rest in peace, Oscar. I miss you. Swimming news, Trevor, in the just concluded 28th edition of the Goodwill Swimming Championships, the Bahamas defended their championship, scoring 1,550 points. Trinidad and Tobago was second with 888 points, Barbados third, 879 points, Jamaica fourth, 798 points, and Suriname was fifth with 473 points. In lacrosse, the result certainly not what Jamaica under 20 women were looking for in the World Lacrosse Women's under 20 Championships in Hong Kong. They opened with a 13-2 loss to the hosts, followed by a 30-3 loss to England, a 21-3 loss to Japan, and closed their group with a 21-2 loss to Ireland. But I
Mm.
am sure the young ladies learned a lot of lessons and were able to expose, I'm sure, some of them their talents to scouts who might be looking for a college player here and there. Formula One racing, finally, the second half of the Formula One season resumes this weekend with the Dutch Grand Prix, and Lewis Hamilton is hoping he can get a podium finish for the fourth consecutive race. The final 10 races of the season will mark Lewis Hamilton as a Mercedes-Benz driver. Next season, he will be with Ferrari. And that's
Okay.
where I put a wrap on John's Sports Corner on Sosofat Media Network. And remember to go to the Winner Circle store in the Sosofat shop and pick up merchandise of your choice, as well as a great Jamaican coffee, Blue Mountain. Folks, enjoy the rest of the week.
Yes, John.
Premier
Excellent.
League is in full swing now.
Yes, yes.
I was waiting for a seat, but the game is not complete. If we come from miles around, here is something. Someone's gonna get it. Got you feeling elected. No, you don't know me very well. That's why Johnny can tell. No, you don't know me very well. What Johnny can tell. No, you don't know me that well. That's what Johnny can tell. No, you don't know me that well. That's what Johnny can tell.
You have been immortalized, John. So
People, when we were in high school, people thought we were brothers, and we said yes.
okay. Well, Monty, thank you, Monty, for giving us this treasure of a domino time. You're listening to John Sports Corner on the Sosofat Media Network.